Welcome back to another action figure review. In this review, we're going to be taking a look at another offering from Hiya Toys. This is part of the DC Injustice 2 line. This is the Exquisite Mini 1/18 scale Swamp Thing action figure. This is the packaging that it comes in. Pretty much comes in the same style packaging that we've been seeing for their Injustice 2 and Predator and Colonial Marine and Alien lines. So the front of the box on the top right, we do have this warning for checking hazard for small parts, not for children under 3 years of age. These are more marketed for your adult collector at starting age about 15 years and up. Most front of the packaging, we have a window box showing the action figure and the some of the accessories that it comes with. On the bottom of the packaging, we do see kind of a product shot of Swamp Thing action figure. We have the DC Injustice 2 Swamp Thing nameplate at the bottom, and on the bottom right we have the very small Hiya Toys logo. The top of the bottom of the box is pretty much the same. It just says DC Injustice 2 Swamp Thing, and on the sides are the same. It just says DC Injustice 2. So it's a pretty standard box. But on the back we do have some other information. At the top, we have DC Injustice 2 Swamp Thing. We have the Exquisite Mini is a new standard setting series for 1/18 scale, featuring super articulation action figures under Hiya Toys. They provided their social media contact, their Twitter and their Facebook. There's a company information there. There is a UPC here, if that helps you. And then we have the DC and Warner Brothers all rights reserved. On the very bottom of the packaging, we have two pretty cool looking product shots of the action figure. And at the bottom, we do have those age limitations and warnings that was on the front of the box. So let's go and take a look and see what he looks like. So the box, we just have this backdrop. It is the Day Planet all beat down that we're used to seeing. Here's Swamp Thing in his clamshell. It doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but I mean, what could you really add for a Swamp Thing besides some weeds or a stick? So the back of it, these are just held together by friction, so I just got separated two pieces of plastic. Okay, I just checked that to the side. So let's take a look at the figure. So here's Swamp Thing. First impressions, this is a pretty heavy figure. He's going to be on the taller side like your Predators and maybe Darkseid. But he's definitely better articulated than the Darkseid is, so that's an A+ for that. Overall, the aesthetics of the figure, we have the very nice green that they've chosen for the initial mold. Then we have a lot of brushing to bring out all the nice sculpt work that's on the mold. Then they added some browns for the tree trunks and the wood that is Swamp Thing. It's not a whole lot to tell on this figure. It's just basically a Swamp Thing. There is a few features on the figure, like for example, the back of this leg here. He does have this very sharp burr here. If you're going to give this to a kid, be careful. That is pretty sharp and it's pretty stiff, so that may injure somebody. So be aware of that. On his shoulders, he does feature two wooden shoulder pads. Guess made out of like bark. Works pretty good. But that does hinder your articulation a good bit. So let's take a look at the head sculpt and let's start looking at the articulation. The head sculpt's done very well. His eyes is painted really nice. I think they captured the overall aesthetic of Swamp Thing's features on his face. Especially this, like, where his mouth is. It's almost like he's wearing a swamp mask. The articulation for his head and neck are pretty interesting. We do have a little bit of an up, a little bit of down, but to get the most of the rotation in his neck is a separate piece. So let's see if we can get that in the frame. See from here up there, it is definitely, and then you can see in the back how it separates. So it kind of complements each other, and you can get some pretty decent, poses out of him. It is a 360 rotation on the, just on the head there, on the top of the neck. But if you really look straight on, there's a little bit of gappage here and here, if that matters to you. The arms, they do go up, and so they hit their shoulder pads pretty good. These are pretty flexible, so they will rise a bit, but not a whole lot. This one's kind of lower than that one is. Now the arms are on the ball joint. First, you would think they go 360. There, it's made. You can see that they would spin. For some reason on mine, I cannot get his arms to, rotate around or even rotate up to touch this. I'm sure it does, but I haven't been able to get it to break free yet, and I'm at the point where I'm worried about like not breaking the figure. So I'm going to have to keep working on that. So just keep in mind that maybe that should rotate to a degree. It's just getting it to break free without breaking the joint. He has bendable elbows. There is a rotation here at the elbow, also 360. So he doesn't really get a 90-degree bend. His wrist is on the ball joint. It just rotates 360 and gives you a little bit of an overall move it around, in and out, up and down, very small. It's just on a little peg. Both arms are the same on this figure, same range, same articulation on the wrist. He has some chest articulation. It goes back and forth. It gets from side to side, but not much. He has a pretty, like I said, he's a pretty hefty figure, so it's not articulated too bad. It's actually pretty good for the size of this figure. I was going to expect worse, like the Dark Side figure, but what really impressed me was these legs. He sits relatively nicely for being such a big guy. He does have some thigh rotation here. And he has double jointed knees. So that'll give you, let's see here, let's do one of the legs. That'll give you your first joint. I think that's really cool. It's sharp. And then let's see if we can get the other joint to bend. It is pretty good. The way this is sculpted for a big guy. Not too bad at all. And both legs are the same. So they both have those brown wood pieces on the back of their legs. For his feet, they do pivot down a tad bit. They pivot up and they rotate 360, no problem. It's a really cool figure. Really nicely sculpted, very nicely painted. There's really no problem with this figure except for, I can't get those arms to move. I'm still heating up the figure. When I took out the packaging, his elbows bent. His feet worked fine. His ankles, the knees kind of bent some, and the wrists were stuck, and the arms were stuck, and the head was free flowing. All the head and neck was great, so I had to heat up some. So I got to keep working on those arms to get him to See if I can get those to rotate. But other than that, you know, not bad for just right out of packaging. I think it looks fantastic. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at some of the accessories that it came with. So it comes with his traditional Injustice 2 stand, the glossy purple, metallic purple stand, and then he has the two H&I brackets that we're very well used to seeing. You can connect them here, and I just flinged one out of there. So you can connect them to other Injustice 2 figures, Predators, Hiya Toys, of course, Hiya Toys, Predators, and Clone Marines. All those fit together if you want to build a unique base for all your figures. And it comes with two of these alternate hands. They are fist hands. I'll tell you what, these are pretty big hands for not used. Actually, bigger than I'm ever used to seeing with some of the extra hands that some of the different figures come with. I almost want to call them Hulk hands, but they're not Hulk hands, but they're pretty big. And then the last thing it comes with this. We're gonna call it a club. When I first looked at this, it kind of reminded me of the Riddler. Maybe this is what he beats the Riddler with. It's basically a piece of wood in a question mark type shape, and we have some grass and moss and whatever you would find in the swamp painted throughout. It's very nice. This is actually a pretty heavy weapon too. It's very cool. Take a look and see how he holds it. Okay, so here he is holding it. The one thing worth noting on this figure is the hands are large, but the diameter of this weapon is quite large too. So he's gonna just holding it here towards like from here down, and because it's just getting really thick, and with the limitation on his elbows, you're not getting that 90-degree or greater bend, really makes him kind of hold it outward. And the lack of that extra joint in his arm or his wrist, where it could bend up like this, really keeps him panned out. So you're not gonna get too many poses out of that if you're looking for that. But even the best way, if you were just displaying him, it could look something like this, maybe. Looks really cool. Okay, let's take a look at some comparisons. Okay, let's start off with a Hot Toys Predator, because that's where his scale is. He actually might be a tad bit taller than these Predators. He is. Oh my goodness. This is a pretty nicely sized figure. He's definitely got a little bit on those Predator figures. And the Predators are very, very tall. But he looks fantastic with the Predator. I love the way he looks. The sculpt and paint, A+. Very cool. Let's take a look at a comparison with one of his Injustice 2 counterparts. It's how he scales with a Red Hood figure. You can see that's huge. He towers over the Red Hood, which he should do, due to his overall size and design of the character. He is a 1/18 scale figure, which makes him definitely very cool. So let's take a look at a Joy Toy figure. Very cool. Here is an Acid Rain figure for comparison. We have our Sophie. She's super cool. And let's take a look at a Hickory Guard beside Swamp Thing. Very cool. So I like doing like little surprises in my videos. I've like something, just pick it out of the blue, kind of like a little Easter egg, a little, I don't know, way, all these little cool things to give them back to you guys for watching my video for, all the way through, which I appreciate and thank you very much for. So this is going to be one of those things, just because it's kind of cool. I think it's cool, and I hope you guys find it cool. So first, here is a comparison with a Vitruvian Hex figure, the female orc. Looks great together. But the one I was really saying was, like, as a little hidden Easter egg, was like, is it me, or do these guys oddly look great together? Like, you got the green Grimoire Guard and the orc, and they both have those teeth. She has her little teeth sticking up. He has his big teeth sticking up. It's almost like she would fit in with your Grimoire Guard army, or guard, whatever your species, like the female version of a Grimoire Guard, even though she is an orc. But I just kind of find that really, really odd, to how well that looks together. Looks really good. So yeah, just thought it was kind of cool to bring up, and something different, is a little hidden Easter egg of a comparison. If you guys find that interesting, let me know down in the comments if you kind of think it looks cool together, or you don't, or there's no right or wrong answer. Just thought it was kind of cool when I first seen it laying on my table. It kind of stuck out to me like that. But let's go and get back to our Swamp Thing figure. So price for this, retail initial release $19.99. So right now you're probably looking at $24.99, $29.99. So I'm going to put this guy in a ballpark of $19.99 to $29.99. So look around. Here's one of the earlier releases, when they first started releasing their Injustice 2 figures. So he may just a little bit more pricier because he's been out for a while. I don't think he's that popular and sought after like, say, the Red Hood, or the Green Lantern, for example. Does seem to be like the really ones always sought out. But he looks great. Highly recommend them. They're really cool. Just keep an eye on, use caution when you first open it, and watch out for your joints. You don't get replacement joints, so you don't want to break it. Especially if you really like the figure and, you pay a little bit for it because he's a little older. And I just realized something else I want to do. This looks pretty cool too. Do a comparison with the new Halo Master Chief. Looks really cool. So a little bonus for you guys. He's even taller than Master Chief. Looks cool. I think he could join the Master Chief's army or squad. For all the figures I showed you with comparison, I have a lot of reviews for those figures and many others. So please feel free to search down through my videos. You may find something else you'd like to watch. So I really appreciate it. If you guys did enjoy this video and its content, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate that. Please like and share the video. Leave a comment, any questions, anything you feel that it's worth noting. If you've already subscribed to my channel, I thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your support, and hope you guys find everything you're looking for. Happy collecting, have fun, and we'll see you in our next review.